Hello, and welcome to Get It Now with CashTalk Credit Repair. During this live stream, we will delve into the issues surrounding personal debt management, empowering individuals to take charge of their finances and to be able to achieve financial independence. I'm Roel Rollocks, your host, Business Development Director at Assuage Business Development Limited. This program is brought to you by CashTalk Credit Repair Services, a pioneer locally and within the region in the field of personal credit repair. Now, I'm sure you've heard it said, till death do us part, when couples are reciting their marriage vows. Often enough, this debt is spelled DEBT, in that financial issues are often recognized as a major cause for the problems with relationships of all kinds. Likewise, many individuals have suffered from the indignity associated with not being able to manage their debt and being a victim, I would say, and a slave to what I will call loan overdose. So let's get it now with Cash Talk Credit Repair. Hello again, and
It's a
welcome
pleasure
back.
to be here, Mr. Rolla.
Pleasure.
How are you today?
This today is the head of Cash Talk Credit Repair, Mr. Daniel Thomas. He's an advocate for effective debt management and one who's committed to eradicating this scourge of crippling debt for families and individuals alike. Good evening, Mr. Thomas, and welcome.
Hi, welcome again, Mr. Rolla. Thank you for having me on board your podcast this afternoon. And I'm looking forward to
Excellent.
share, wonderful things to the public. Let's move forward.
Sure, pleasure,
Yes?
welcome. And welcome to all of those that are viewing, whether you're viewing us on YouTube or LinkedIn on Facebook. It's a pleasure to have you. And we invite you to be a part of our program this evening by typing any comment or any question that you may have in the comment section, okay? And we'll do our best to try to incorporate it into our discussion this evening. So, jumping right in, maybe we'll start with some little introductions. Mr. Thomas, could you share a little bit about yourself and what led you to launch this
All
pioneering
right.
company, CashTalk Credit Repair?
This will be an exciting conversation on what led me to start this organization. So I'm going to start basically at present, where I'm in right now. So I'm currently the CEO for CashTalk Credit Repair and also the chairman for Zyber Group of Companies. Now, what actually led me to launching and starting CashTalk Credit Repair is because of my past financial debts, or I should say, assume that I had past financial debts in terms of having a bad credit score. So during the period of time, I started applying for loans through different financial institutions, and I realized that I was being constantly turned down and not knowing why and what are the reason, being turned down. It's until I started researching on why, a person will be turned down for loan, and it showed up based on bad credit, right? So I reached out to my financial institutions in terms of what's my bad credit, be how can I have a bad credit knowing that I don't have any loan? And this went on for actually for 19 years trying to get loans,
19
right?
years.
Yes, 19 years. 19 years I've been turning down, so I have good employment, my salary going in the bank on time, but yet still it shows that I have bad credit score. And it actually happened is because poor financial reporting or dispute reporting. So what had happened is that I took out a credit card 19 years ago, and the credit card was paid off, but the information was not sent to the financial institution, showing that my credit card was paid off. So that left a stigma onto my credit report. And every time I pull my credit report, it shows that I'm owing these financial institutions with the credit card situation. So I started working on my behalf, how can I repair my credit? I've searched and searched, through Trinidad and Tobago on how can I repair my credit. And there wasn't a company that actually could assist me in repair my credit. All right. So
Wow.
what I started doing now, I approached TransUnion, which is our local credit reporting bureau here in Trinidad and Tobago, and they guided me accordingly on how I should go about, started repairing my credit, which I filed a dispute to the financial institutions and to TransUnion in terms of finding out what are the situations. And it so happened that this again, so based on the same credit reporting information was not sent to the financial institution, showing that Mr. Daniel Thomas had paid off his credit. So I sat down and I said to myself, I said, if it took me 19 years to get this off my system, right? And that put a financial constraint on me because I wanted to do so many things in my life. And because of that, I just couldn't do anything like that. Right? I
Yes.
said to myself, I said, listen, if this affected me so much in moving forward in my life, what should affect the other person? Because probably so many people in Trinidad and Tobago probably have this similar situation that I went through. All right. And I started researching on how to become a credit repair specialist. And this part I was excited. So I researched and I started training with different organizations in the States, right? One of the organizations is that's Credit Repair Cloud, which they are one of the main persons that support me right now here in Trinidad and Tobago by providing me vital information on how can I assist person in repairing their credits also too, right? So in 2018, we have launched CashTalk Credit Repair, and so far we have helped many persons who have simple financial disputes, right? And that's the reason why we are launched out and we are going public here today because I believe due to this COVID situation, there are so many people who actually need our assistance to moving forward.
Yes.
Yes. So that's it in
Yes.
a
Yes.
nutshell. Yes.
You can certainly tell by the proliferation of all these microfinance agencies. Course Finance has been doing extremely well. There's Island Finance. There's so many of them. You always hear these stories every time you have a conversation. It's something related to that. So I know certainly this is something that would be of much interest to our viewers. How do we deal with this particular situation? But I want to go back to something you mentioned. So just to make it clear, so this is an area that you had your own personal challenge, and instead of just succumbing to that challenge, you decided to do something about it. And we have to commend you for that, Mr. Thomas. So you decided to train. So you are trained and qualified in this area of credit repair.
Yes, so at this point in time, if you look at my LinkedIn account, also my certificates are there, so you can log on to my LinkedIn account. That's Daniel
Yes.
Thomas at LinkedIn. And so you will see my links to my certifications, training with
Cool.
Credit Repair Cloud, some of the courses that I did. And also we have a weekly training process that we go through because there always something new that comes on, right,
Yes.
within the credit repair organization. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I guess this really makes you a pioneer. You mentioned earlier that there was no other organization that you could find to help in this regard, and maybe the Caribbean.
Yes, exactly. Because what had happened is that most of the time we approach the financial institutions and they look at bad debt, right? They look at bad credit, right? But there's no organization here in Trinidad and Tobago, it's like CashTalk Credit Repair, that helps persons repair their credit, right? And
Okay,
that's one of the most important things because if we continue going down this road, then within 5 to 10 years, then there will be no one to actually take a loan from a financial institution. Yeah.
okay. I see. So how would someone know, or what are the symptoms, or what can you look for, right? That gives you a sense that your credit is bad and needs repair. What would you say to persons who are not sure? What do you look for? How do you know when you need credit repair?
Well, first, it's very simple to understand. So long as you take a loan to advise persons, right? It's free from TransUnion on a yearly basis. A person to actually pull their credit score, right? And this will help a person to understand where they're at, within the credit repair industry, right? Now, for simple things, maybe you probably have the wrong address, right? You probably have the wrong phone number, or even just a different spelling in your name, and then you
Right.
have some sort of inaccurate information that comes onto your account, and you may not um, see that, but you keep on applying for loans and things like that, and these simple things just come up. So I advise persons that on a yearly basis try and pull their credit repair or their credit score from TransUnion, right? And see how best they can understand what's the process and the loans that they took out, right? And the times that they're paying it, right? And that will actually help. Now, also, a person who are not paying their loans on time, right? That's also a sign that your credit will be bad,
Yes.
right? A person who paying off their loans too fast, that's also will affect your credit. So these are
Could
the
you repeat
simple things that you have to
the
understand.
saying? Those persons who are paying off their loan too quickly, that also affects
Yes,
your credit.
yeah, that's also affects your credit within your credit score. All right. So these are the simple things that we have to understand within the financial industry. And being a part of CashTalk Credit Repair, these are some of the information discussions that we have with our clients moving forward.
Okay.
So sometimes we decide that
Um,
we want to take a loan on for 5 years and we want to pay it off in 6 months. Actually, that's not helpful to you because you need to show some sort of credibility to the financial institution.
Then, of
Yeah.
course, we invite persons who are tuning in to ask a question because I'm sure this is certainly I know I'm learning a lot here already. This is an area that I've had challenging in terms of managing my debt. So we invite you. You know, you can write your questions in the comment section, and we'll try our best to address them. While we have, you know, the credit repair man himself right here in studio with us. So I want to delve a little bit into what is credit repair there for. So you've told us what the challenge is, how to tell when you need credit repair, and certainly there may be many persons who may be a little timid to approach these big financial institutions. You understand, and they need
Right.
support. How does CashTalk Credit Repair help resolve these issues when it comes to the repairing their credit?
Right. So first, we're gonna discuss what is credit repair. So I'm gonna summarize it very simple, right? The credit repair is when a third-party organization, or call a credit repair organization, which is CashTalk, right? So companies approach TransUnion basically for the Credit Bureau of Trinidad and Tobago, right? For any inaccurate information on your credit report, and we try to resolve them. So that's basically a nutshell, right? If you realize that you're not getting a loan, pull a credit report. So you can come to CashTalk, we'll pull a credit report, and we will look for any inaccuracy within that particular situation, and we help you dispute. So that's it basically for what it is credit repair. With CashTalk, there's a number of things that we do in terms of within the credit repair industry, right? We tend to work with clients, as I said again, sending letters to different financial institutions on behalf of the inaccuracy, right? Dispute matters that took place, and persons don't understand why or the reason why it actually took place, right? So our associates and our lawyers and attorneys work hand in hand with the clients, right, to send these to the financial institution and also to TransUnion to try to resolve these issues. Yes.
Okay. So you would say that you are very much an advocate and a voice for the voiceless. You speak for persons who probably cannot represent themselves, and you have helped them handle any dispute, which is really what affects their credit situation. Which in turn, you mentioned earlier the whole question of credit score. And I know later on in this series, we may delve a little bit more into this issue of credit score. But I'm sure quite a lot of persons are maybe wondering, what is this credit score thing about? You know, you look at if you're looking at cable or any international um, program, you may see in between these ads on repair your credit because you have a poor credit score. So what does this mean? What is your credit score? We really have something like that in Trinidad and Tobago?
Oh, yeah. So basically, just like how the government rolled out a plan recently there where the point system for driving, so you get enough points. So the merit points system that took in place actually take place right now in Trinidad. It's very similar to your credit score, right? Every time a person takes a loan, they start off at 800. Let's start with that, right? So let's start out 800 to 850. That's your credit score. And as you go along paying those loans, as you default, your credit score start to drop, right? Now, it is important to stay within 550, 750 to 850 in order to be in good favors with the financial institution. The lower your credit score, that's the time when you will be turned off by the financial institution. So these are some of the things that we have to look at, right? So you're
So
going there with good faith, and you have to maintain that good faith to the financial institution and give them that level of security that you can pay on time.
okay. So I mean, why? I know this is a question some people may have as well, right? But why do I need to have credit? Um, if I, let's say I never took a loan, and I go, with my credit score be high because I've never taken a loan, and I don't have anything negative on my name, would that mean I'll have an excellent score and be able to access credit?
No, actually, a credit score is, I will convert it to a word called credibility, right? As we build a relationship with the financial institutions, even if we start off at $1,000 and we pay at least $50 per month, the financial institutions will be comfortable in lending me, right? Because I can repay. Now, a person who don't have that level of credibility with financial institutions, it will be very hard for that financial institution to lend. So most of the time, they will find that can you bring a security or maybe can you have a guarantor sign because you don't have that credibility with the financial institution, right? So it is important for persons to take microloans and start to build their credit from an early age. So when time for applying for mortgage or vehicle loan, that credibility is already there within the financial institution. Yeah.
Okay, so that's certainly some advice to persons who are now launching
Mhm.
out, maybe new to the world of work, or maybe parents to advise their young ones, their children, and how to do it. So, how would you advise going about doing this? So, is it that I just take out any loan? What kind of loan should I take out? How much should I take out if I'm in a situation where I don't have a credit history?
All right. So our advice persons who now actually building their credit, right? Try to get themselves involved in some sort of a credit union where they could take, let's say, for instance, microloan and put that loan into shares, right? Now, what you'll be doing is actually showing that credit union that you are capable of paying month after month, and they will report that to TransUnion as you are a good client towards them. Now, upon paying that, what will happen is that you will now have shares within your organization where you can take a larger loan, right? And you will also have a credibility with the financial institution, right? So these are some of the things that I actually tell my clients who actually now starting to build their credit, especially
Wow,
young
wow,
person. Yeah.
wow, so much, so much, so much food for thought there.
Yeah.
So is this all that you offer? In terms of the cash talk, the credit repair services, are there other services that you offer individuals as well?
Oh yeah, so actually our organization, we organize a number of services. So one is basically the credit repair service which we are currently discussing. We also have the credit repair membership program, right? We have the rehabilitation program, and we also have the guarantee program. Now, as we go along with these podcasts, these are topics that we can discuss and share more about these packages. Or if you look at the bottom of the screen, you may be able to contact any persons there and they will share more information about these services that we provide.
Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. So, as we begin to wind down this evening's podcast. The time flies so quickly, and of course, those of you tuning in, remember if that you can ask your questions. You can put your questions in the comment section. Any question that you have for Mr. Thomas, we have him live, um, a live expert in this particular area, and as he mentioned, it's not something that you can find anywhere. He had to search very far and wide to get this expertise. So we have him now today. So why should persons consider cash talk credit repair for for um, for help in terms of repairing their credit? Why could maybe just talk to a loans officer or talk to someone? Why cash talk credit repair?
That's an excellent question, Mr. Ross. So, number one, CashTalk Credit Repair is the only organization in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean currently that provides credit repair service, right, for citizens of these islands. Um, One of the things that I actually stress on is our membership program, which is something that actually helps a lot of our clients before and I'm extending the service to other persons who are willing to come aboard with CashTalk, with some of the things that I just want to share. So by becoming a member with CashTalk, uh, and our membership program, you have the opportunity to, one, save with us, right? Two, have access to microloans from $1,000 to $10,000 by building a relationship. By taking those microloans from us, we actually have billed those credits and reported to TransUnion. So those persons who are now actually starting, they could come on board with us and build those services. Being a member again with us, you have financial advice where we sit down with persons on a one-on-one basis and we guide them accordingly, especially for small business persons who are now launching out. There are avenues inside that membership program where we could guide you to do your business plans, how to get microloans, things like that. Persons who are now getting mortgages, being a member, we tend to work with you. We tend to send different proposals to financial institutions, right, where we can help persons and help yourself attain those loans. And one of the features that we just launched, and this helps persons, with their financials, in terms of by becoming a member, you also have access our TV live streaming, where persons can have, full types of horror movies, or thrillers, or actions, things like that. So there's a lot of things that happen within our membership program for just basically only $60 a month. And I advise persons to come on board, right? And we can help you from there.
Wow. So we're talking about a virtual cash talk world. It's like a cash talk universe.
Yeah,
Once you get involved, you
yeah,
get access to so many things in this particular area to help you become more financially independent. And as we're on the
yeah,
topic of financial independence, I see another person's posting there. As Simone mentioned there earlier, she didn't know paying off too early can affect your credit score as well. So there's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
viewers are learning tonight, Mr. Thomas. Maybe we should start calling you the cash talk doctor, the cash repair doctor. How would that super work?
I would say the credit repair specialist.
So as we
Yeah,
winding
credit
down,
repair specialist.
um,
Mhm.
we want to always keep in mind that the focus of these sessions really is to unpack all the issues around debt and debt management to help persons manage the debt better. The idea is not to put people in more debt. That's not the idea. The concept really is about financial
Right,
independence, right? And develop, moving out of that situation where you have the indignity of owing persons and you have to duck and you have to hide and you can't access the loans and the financing that you need. So with this in mind, I'd like you to just offer, some words of advice. I want you to picture, our audience that's with us today. They have their challenges. We all have our challenges. What would you advise as far as becoming financially independent? What one piece of advice would you leave with our viewership this evening that you feel is very important and has helped you? You mentioned earlier about the steps you had to take to come out of your situation. What piece of advice would you leave with them as we wind up our program this evening?
all right. So I'm going to give advice that I give myself after paying off my credit card that I took for Carnival, right? At one point in time, right? It's important. There, there are good debts and bad debts. And if you are going into debt, right? If you are going into debt, make sure that it has the potential to increase your net worth, right? Because when you have bad debt, right, it is about borrowing of depreciating assets, right? So these are some of the things that we have to look at. So a lot of people take loans for things that actually don't provide net worth for them, and then they're wondering why, what happened, where did I go wrong, right? No, I made those mistakes, right? I made those mistakes, and I believe I'm an expert with that, making those mistakes. So that's why I'm sharing it with you today, right? So when you're taking a debt, make sure it will actually increase your net worth when it comes to that. And don't take
Excellent.
no credit card for carnival. Yeah,
So we're talking about,
thank you.
I've heard some persons talk about you're taking a loan to invest, so you're putting that loan
Right.
to make the loan work for you and you're putting it into assets that can generate more income rather than assets that just depreciate and lose value and don't add to you. So thank you so
Depreciate.
much,
Yeah,
Mr.
depreciate and lose
Thomas,
value.
the Credit Repair Specialist, for being with us this evening. And I know we look forward to having you on upcoming sessions. For all those viewing, look out for us. We are going to be here, all right, every second and fourth Tuesday. You can find us here at this time at 6 o'clock. We have lots more to come when it pertains to debt management and achieving financial independence via the CashTalk Credit Repair system. So thank you very much and have a pleasant night. Thank you for being part of our session. Again, thank you to our guest, Mr. Thomas. See you next time.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Wallace. I'm looking forward to being on the next podcast. Thanks again.
Have a good evening, all.